Sit close to camera. Quiet voice, almost like you're telling a secret. So there's someone in your house, maybe your partner, maybe a roommate, maybe a family member, and your dog just doesn't care about them, walks past them, ignores their calls, doesn't go to them when scared, and everyone laughs it off like it's funny. Oh, the dog just likes you more. Short pause, shift tone slightly, but then you watch your dog sleeping. Their paws twitch, their face moves, they're dreaming about someone, and you start wondering, is it the person they ignore? Everyone assumes dogs dream about their favorite human, the one who feeds them, walks them, cuddles them. And yeah, that's probably partly true, but here's where it gets genuinely strange. Lean forward slightly. Dogs may actually dream more about the relationships that are unresolved, the ones that carry tension, uncertainty, the person in the house they can't quite figure out yet. Actually, wait. I need to be more careful here because unresolved sounds negative. It's not always negative. It can mean curious. It can mean this person is a puzzle I haven't solved yet, and my brain keeps returning to it. Which means the person your dog seems to ignore. They might be living rent-free in your dog's sleeping brain every single night. And that changes everything about how we read canine behavior. I'm going to break down exactly what dogs dream about, how memory works in the sleeping dog brain, and the sign most people never catch, how to tell if your dog is actually more attached to someone than they're letting on while they're awake. Short, heavy pause. Subscribe if you want the version of dog content that doesn't talk down to you. Okay, let's go. Here's the thing about those weird little muffled barks they make when they're deep asleep. You know the ones, the soft boof sound, the paws pedaling like they're running somewhere important, the way their eyebrows twitch independently of each other. That's not random noise. That's not just muscle spasms. That's a scene playing out. A moment from their day being filed away permanently. Researchers at MIT, specifically a neuroscientist named Matthew Wilson, studied the way animals consolidate memory during sleep. What they found was that during REM sleep, the brain doesn't go quiet, it replays. It literally reruns the footage from the day, filing some moments away and discarding others. And this isn't unique to humans. The same hippocampal activity Wilson mapped in rats running their mazes again in their sleep shows up in dogs too. So when your dog is lying on the couch with their face going through what looks like an entire emotional journey while their body is completely still, their brain is working hard, sorting through everything that happened, deciding what matters, deciding what to keep. Look directly into the lens. There is an entire internal world in that sleeping dog that you will never fully access. And I think about that more than I probably should. This is the part that stopped me cold the first time I read it. Dr. Tom Edmond, Deirdre Barrett at Harvard, has suggested that dogs most likely dream about their human companions specifically, not chasing squirrels, not finding food, not running through a field somewhere. Their dreams are socially centered. The cast of characters in a dog's dream life is built from the people who occupy emotional space, not necessarily the people who occupy the most physical time. Read that again. Emotional space, not physical time. Your dog doesn't care that you remembered to buy the good kibble. Their brain is replaying something else entirely. Probably a look, a tone of voice, a moment where they were trying to read you and couldn't quite get there. That interaction that felt small to you. Their sleeping brain might be running it back 3 times, trying to figure out what it meant, which means the person who does everything right, the walks, the treats, the training, might not be the one taking up the most dream real estate. And a person who barely interacts with the dog, who the dog seems to casually walk past every single day, that person might be the most interesting puzzle in the room. We'll come back to why that matters. But first, what's actually happening when your dog appears to ignore someone? This is the reframe that changes everything. When a dog goes quiet around someone, doesn't run up, doesn't solicit attention, doesn't react much, that is not disinterest. I used to read it as rejection. It took me a long time to understand what it actually is. It's data collection. Dogs don't do casual the way humans do. Casual, they don't half pay attention to someone while scrolling their phone. When a dog goes still and observant around a person, they're building a behavioral profile. They're asking, is this person predictable? Do they move with intention or with chaos? Do their words and their body language match? Are they safe? The dog that runs to greet one person and walks past another isn't rejecting the second person. They haven't finished deciding yet. And until they've decided, until they've gathered enough data, they stay in observation mode. Quiet, watchful, apparently indifferent. Pause. Let it land. Think about someone in your house who's always felt a little hurt that the dog doesn't respond to them. They call the dog's name and get nothing. They reach down to pet and the dog shifts away. They start to take it personally. They stop trying. And the whole time, the dog is watching them from across the room, running the numbers, not ignoring them at all, studying every move they make. Pick up a worn hoodie or piece of clothing from nearby. You've probably seen this. You leave for work and your dog goes and lies on your clothes, not their bed, your shirt, your hoodie that's been sitting on the chair for 3 days. The behavioral books call this comfort seeking, and technically sure, but that explanation always felt thin to me. Like calling the ocean a large amount of water. This isn't vague comfort. This is your dog surrounding themselves with your sensory signature, your specific smell, the texture of something that carries you, because their brain is actively holding you in memory and needs something physical to anchor to. They're not just missing you in a general way, they're processing you. Specifically you. Other signs, sleeping in your spot when you're not there, orienting their body toward where you usually sit, even when you're not home, even when you've been gone for hours. The slow side eye toward the door you usually come through, 20 minutes before you actually arrive, carrying something of yours from room to room without any obvious reason. These aren't random behaviors. These are the waking surface of whatever their sleeping brain is doing at 3 a.m. when the house is quiet and their paws start to twitch. Here's the one that genuinely messes with people. And I want to say this clearly because I think it causes real pain in a lot of households. The dog who loses their mind when a neighbor visits, spinning, jumping, making sounds they don't have words for, is not necessarily more attached to that neighbor than to you. Hypergreetings can actually be a sign of anxiety, uncertainty, the nervous system going into overdrive because this interaction feels unpredictable, high stakes, slightly overwhelming. The dog who walks over when you get home and simply leans their full weight against your leg without making a sound, that's not a cold greeting. That's secure attachment. That's a dog whose nervous system doesn't spike when you walk through the door because you are safe, known, and constant. Their body doesn't need to perform the reunion because the reunion isn't dramatic, it's just right. Slow. If your dog just presses against you when you get home and looks up at you with that half-lidded, soft-eyed look, that's not less love. That might be more. It's the love that doesn't need to prove itself. So what do you do if you're the person the dog seems to walk past? Or if someone in your house is genuinely hurting because the dog doesn't come to them? Not treats. Not forced cuddle sessions, not calling the dog's name louder or more desperately, which, by the way, is the fastest way to make them do that slow, deliberate head turn away from you. The answer is something that sounds too simple to be real, be boring. Consistently, reliably, boringly present. Don't reach for the dog. Let them come to you. Sit on the floor sometimes. Move calmly. Keep your voice even. Be the same person on Tuesday that you are on Monday. Give the dog something they almost never get from humans, predictability without agenda. The people dogs dream about are usually the ones who learn to just be present without demanding anything back, who sat in the room and let the dog make all the decisions about when to approach, when to leave, when to stay. That patience, that willingness to wait on the dog's timeline instead of your own emotional timeline is what eventually crosses whatever threshold the dog has set. You can't rush a dog into trusting you, and the harder you try, the longer it takes. Pull back from the behavior science for a second. Just think about this. A dog in REM sleep is a dog in the most vulnerable state they can be in. In the world dogs evolved from, sleep was genuinely dangerous. Being unconscious meant being exposed. The animals that survived were the ones who stayed alert, who slept lightly, who woke at the smallest sound. A dog who fully dreams, who goes deep enough that their paws twitch and their face moves through entire experiences, is a dog who has made a trust decision about the space they're in, about the people nearby. They've decided, somewhere below conscious thought, that it's safe enough to be completely unguarded. And the person they're dreaming about, whoever their brain keeps returning to, replaying, trying to understand, that person has entered their inner world in a way that goes beyond the daily routine of walks and feeding. They've become part of the dog's ongoing internal story. Look directly at the lens. Slow. Being someone's safe place isn't loud. It doesn't look like the dramatic reunion at the door. It looks like them choosing to close their eyes in the same room as you and meaning it. Quieter now. Slower. Sit back. Go back to that image from the beginning. The paws twitching. The small sounds. The face moving through something you'll never see. You want to know who they're dreaming about? Watch what they do when they wake up. Watch whose direction they look first. Watch whose name makes their ears shift before their eyes are even fully open. Long pause. Look directly at lens. The person your dog ignores might be the person their brain can't stop returning to. And the person they're calmest around? They might be so embedded in that dog's sense of safety that the brain doesn't even need to search for them. You're already there. Soft. Almost to yourself. Share this with whoever in your house thinks the dog doesn't like them. It might change their whole day.